again. This is Daniel Ritchie, the developer of Howler, and today we're going to talk about some animation subjects, namely lip syncing for animation, that is breaking audio down into, or rather communication, spoken words down into their phonetic sounds and drawing them for the sake of drawing characters who are speaking. If you've ever taken Spanish class, you probably learned the vowels a, e, o, u, and that's pretty close to the phonetic sounds that we're going to use for our vowels. And then there are some consonant shapes which we're also going to use. In animation, I like to simplify if there are some shapes that are very similar, such as the oo sound and the sound used for like Q's and W's. I tend to combine those into one drawing because they're very similar. But as you see here, I practiced drawing a few mouths. It's actually kind of difficult for me drawing with a tablet. That's why I draw landscapes so often, because somebody looks at a tree and says, "Hey, that doesn't look quite right." Well, no, a tree looks pretty much like anything, but a mouth, people have seen those and expect it to look something like what it's supposed to look like. So that is a little bit hard for me. So I'm gonna do my best here. As you see, I've drawn these. If you have trouble drawing with a tablet, one thing you can do is work on a larger resolution and then scale it down later. It gives you a little more. You don't have to be as precise with your drawing. So that's one trick you can use for drawing these things. But as I said, we're going to cover how to do this. And once you've done this, it really becomes second nature. It really takes about an hour to learn it, and then maybe 2 or 3 days of practicing it. And after that, you pretty much have it for life. It's not really particularly difficult. It just takes a little bit of getting used to. And there are some wonderful books on the subject, or you can go to the internet. But as any animator knows, the first place you go is to those Preston Blair pamphlets they have in all the art stores. And they're fantastic. And yes, you can learn animation from a pamphlet. It's a subject that is both fairly simple, and it'll take a lifetime to either be a master of it or to be a really great failure at it. Any animator thinks his own work is terrible, and thinks everybody else is really good at it. So don't feel like you're the only one who feels that way. So I'm going to go to the internet, which I happen to have here somewhere. Let's see. And whoops, I've already found one of the Preston Blair books by typing in Preston Blair mouths. But I'll look at some of these other things first. Here's one of the books that I've owned, and it's a really wonderful book. It's not very large, and you can learn quite a lot about animation in it. And I've also owned this one with the funny-looking rabbit and the duck and all that. And also, it's very small, almost a pamphlet, and very informative. And a lot of information, a lot of wonderful drawings, and you really couldn't go wrong by running down to your local art store screaming and saying, "Give me the Preston Blair books on animation." There's plenty to be found on the internet as well. That's up to you. Lots and lots and lots of information on doing this. But as you see here, we have some shapes. They do it slightly differently than I would do it, but this guy is probably a lot better than I am, so I'd say go with this, or develop your own style. But I'm going to go ahead and go back to my my paint program here. And I've already practiced drawing some of these shapes. You see an aw shape. This will actually cover several things other than aw, like it can be an open mouth, just other things you can do with it. But generally it's an aw shape, and then there's an eh or e shape, which is also very useful. That's similar to the aw, but you see more of the teeth, and the mouth is a little narrower, maybe a little bit wider from side to side. There's an O shape. Similar to an U shape, it's more of a round mouth, but it's not quite as round as the U shape. So you have an A, E, O, and U. And those, to me, those are the basic phonetic vowels. You might do I sound in there, like ah, eh, o, u. But I think it's best to simplify. So I'm going to go with these 4 basic vowel shapes. And then there are a couple of consonant shapes which are also very useful. There's a closed mouth shape, which is usually sounds like the B sound, the M sound, or the P sound, like or those other sounds where your mouth is fully closed and you're getting ready to go into a vowel shape after that, usually. There's the F and V sound where it's a closed mouth, but there are some teeth showing, and that's really the main difference there. And then there's like the L, or the sometimes TH will use this shape. It is similar to the F and V, but the mouth is open, and you usually have the tongue resting on the back of the teeth. So seeing that tongue in there really helps sell the L shape or the TH shape. And then there's really the main consonant one, which covers a whole lot of different consonants, which is a sort of a closed mouth shape. It's very similar to the E sound, or the this one here, where you see a lot of teeth, but sometimes that's a little bit more open, and this is usually the teeth closed. So if you want to simplify, you could probably use the same shape, but sometimes it's useful to have that distinction where the mouth is somewhat open on the E shape. But it just depends on your style. So those are some of the basics, and once you have those basics and you understand them well enough, you can actually go into open up a WAV file, for example, and start examining what your audio sounds like. I think I have one. I'm going to go ahead and go to Animation Exposure Sheet, which is here under the Animation menu. And here is a tool that we use that actually helps us break this down. So you're not on your own here. This is going to help us a lot. And after you use this a few dozen times, it's going to be really second nature. But this really will help you get started. The first thing you might want to do is either load in a WAV file that you've already recorded. If you don't have a sample recorder that'll save in a BMP format, we have one, so don't worry about it. We'll just go to Record Audio. And there's some tools there for recording audio. I think I've already recorded an audio file, though, so let me take a look. Here we go. Nothing really spectacular. I think I said hi mom or something. Let's see.
Hi mom.
Hi mom. Okay. Basically, you can see by looking at the waveform that the audio basically starts here, and you can scrub through it with the mouse. I'm using a tablet right now, but I can hear just by looking at it. That's where it says hi, and by listening to it, I can see right here is where it says mom. So actually, we would put an M shape right here. I happen to have a preset for an M shape down there. I'm going to double click on that. Let's see. Forget how actually that works. Might already be in there. Yes, it's already in there. I don't know if you single click or double click. Let me try it again. I'm going to start here at the beginning. No, it would be a better place to start. An H shape. There's not really an H shape. The H doesn't make a sound. So we're going to start with a closed mouth right at the beginning of this. And we're going to have the mouth closed. Then when we start going into this, there's no shape for H. It's just kind of something you do at the back of your throat. So there's not really a mouth shape for it. So the first vowel we're going to have is like a... actually, you don't put an I there. You would think an I would go there because you think the way it's spelled is hi mom. But actually it's a ah-e sound. Hi-e mom. Hi-e mom. See what I'm saying? So you start with a ah shape, And then when you get into the E portion of it, high E, right there, you go into an E shape or an S shape, high E, and that makes that high sound. And then right about here, we get into that closed mouth M shape, which we've already recorded. Actually, I might want to put it a little bit sooner. I'll put the M right there, and then I'll turn that into a ah. It's an ah shape. So you could also use that A, it's an ah sound. Mom. It's not really an O. An O would be a rounder shape. An O, like ooh. So you're going to use the A again. Hi, Mom. And then we'll go ahead and go back to the M shape at the end of that. Right about there, perhaps. So we've basically broken this Hi, Mom down into the phonetic sounds, and we've recorded basically the phonemes for it. You can look right here on the exposure sheet in this little area, part of the timeline right here. You see the phonemes that recorded A, E, M, A, and there's that M right there. So it's closed, I, Mom, or Hi, Mom. Remembering that H doesn't make a mouth shape, it's in the back of the throat. So when we play this, what we should see, doesn't hurt to start with a none at the beginning, or a closed at the beginning. And when we go to play this,
Hi, Mom.
As you can see, this animates as you play it. And if we had done a long piece of dialogue, you'd really see the this mouth taking on a animated quality to it.
Hi, Mom.
Hi, Mom.
Hi, Mom.
One more time.
Hi, Mom.
Alright, so that is our first exposure to the exposure sheet in Project Dog Waffle Howler. When I come back on this series, or this subject, we can cover some other things. Before I go, then I'll let you know that there are some other preset, more cartoony looking shapes and more sketchy looking shapes that'll let you get a better idea
Hi, Mom.
of what's what, and maybe give you some ideas of your own drawings, how you might want to draw them.
Hi, Mom.
Okay, but say I had an animation created here. Let me store a copy of this, and I'll create an animation. Clear this frame, and create an animation of, say, let's see, how many frames do I have in this audio? It looks like about, audio is 2.7 seconds, 65 frames at 24 frames per second. So I'll create 64 at 24 frames per second. Alright. Now, as you see, as I scrub through here, it also updates the program. If you watch this film strip up here, it will also update that film strip, and it'll also update the animation that I have inside the program. So if I had a drawing back here of a character, for example, with some whatever, this is about where I start drawing the that shape there, and so forth and so on, and then I continue on. One other feature we have that helps to make that useful is our light table. That will show the previous and next drawing, so we can actually go in and draw, and that'll be a guide for similar to an onion skin with animation drawing. It'll be sort of a guideline, so you can see what you've drawn and where you're going. You can see the frame before and after. These are just some of the animation tools that we have available. Alright, so when I come back on this series, I'll cover some of the other features, such as the ability to sequence animations using the frame sequencing, what we call Frame Painter, which will take the frames of your animation and allow you to basically non-linearly combine them into a new animation of really any length, just by selecting the frame you want to paint and then just drawing it onto this new film strip and then shooting it. But that's something we'll cover later. And that is all part of the exposure sheet. Somewhat advanced tools for drawn animation, but fairly simple. They allow you to integrate audio into the program. In fact, if you record audio and start using it with the exposure sheet and save out an AVI file, it will be saved, depending on the format of the AVI at least, it will be saved with a number of different formats of AVI. So there's one way to work with audio in your inside of Howler, and that is basically it for now, covering phoneme shapes, drawing animated mouth shapes for cartoon characters and that sort of thing. Hope to talk to you later. Hope you're enjoying your experience with Howler 9.1, 9.2 coming out shortly in the next week or so, and that's about it for now. Talk to you later.
Funky music.